Hi, I'm Richie Zellon, and in today's lesson, I'd like to dispel a theoretical myth that has been going around in the jazz community among jazz teachers, especially guitar teachers, for quite some time. And this might be a misunderstanding, I don't know, but either way, I'd like to clear it up today because I find that it creates a lot of problems for new jazz guitarists who are learning how to improvise. And speaking of new guitarists, every time that I get a new student, I'll usually ask them what they know about improvisation. And they'll give me several answers, among which they'll say, well, one of the things I know is that I'm never supposed to play an avoid note on a downbeat. Okay, before I go any further, let's clear up what an avoid note is for those of you who are new to this. An avoid note is usually a tone within the scale, a degree of the scale that clashes with the chord that that scale generates, okay? So for example, a C7 or a C major 7 coming from an Ionian or Mixolydian, the 4 is an avoid tone because the 4 is half step above the third and usually clashes with the chord. So you got to be careful how you use it. We use these avoid tones as approach notes. That means they must resolve to a chord tone and they have to last, you know, not too long. So that's something that we'll talk about a little bit more later on. But anyways, not only are diatonic degrees, like in this case the 4, avoid tones, but also any note that does not belong to the scale is also considered an avoid tone and must be used in a special way. So this myth that says that you can't play an avoid tone on a downbeat has a lot of new jazz players thinking, oh my God, I'm on a downbeat. I can't play this note or I can't play that note. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I'm going to prove this to you. And I'm going to prove it to you using examples of compositions by one of the most important architects of the bebop language. I'm talking about none other than Charlie Parker. So we're going to examine 6 different pieces, 6 different segments of Charlie Parker compositions where he explicitly uses an avoid tone on the downbeat, okay? And then we're going to try to clear up what the real rule should be or what the misunderstanding here is. So we're going to start out with the first measure of confirmation. I'm going to just play these and then I'm going to show you where the avoid note is on a downbeat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how it starts, confirmation, right? So he's playing the first measure. That's a 4 over an F. You can see the notation right here on the screen. That's a 4 resolving half step down to the third. That 4 is happening on the downbeat of 3. So that's one example there. Let's take a look at another one. How about Moose the Mooch? Let's look at measure 2 of Moose the Mooch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's look at that slowly now. Okay, here in this second measure, over the last portion of the measure, he's playing a 4 on the downbeat of 3 over an F7. And then on the downbeat of 4, he's playing a chromatic note. So let's look at the sixth measure of the same piece, Moose the Mooch. It goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's examine this. The first measure that I played, everything is okay, but when he plays that second measure, where we have the E flat major 7, on the downbeat of 3 again, plays a chromatic note, a D flat, resolving it to the D, and again on the downbeat of 4, another chromatic. These are approach tones. So let's look at ornithology next, measure number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here we have a 4 again, avoid note 4 on the downbeat of 3. And immediately after that, he plays another avoid tone. This time it's a chromatic, this A flat, and resolves it on the 4th beat to a natural. Okay, that's an enclosure there. And how about something from anthropology? Let's look at the first measure of anthropology. Rhythm changes. I'm sure you've all heard this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know that one. Okay, so here he goes. And again, we have an E flat over a G minor 7 on the downbeat of 3 again. And then that is followed by another chromatic note, resolving on the 4th beat on the downbeat to a D natural. Okay? And one more example, and I could go on forever, but I guess you're getting the point here. Same piece, anthropology, measure number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here we have it on the downbeat of 2. We have a 4 and a void tone over the B flat. So what can we gather from all of this? Well, I think the misunderstanding is that, and this is something they don't clarify when they tell you, never play an avoid tone on a downbeat. It will clash if it lasts a quarter note or more, if it's a larger rhythmic value that is over a slow to medium tempo. But even at a fast tempo, a quarter note over a downbeat is not going to sound bad. But any value, especially eighth notes or smaller on downbeats, no problem. That's one of the things that I think creates this misunderstanding. The other thing is it should resolve by stepwise motion to a chord tone. Okay? And that resolution may be delayed for an eighth note or two, but it eventually resolves. So I hope this has been useful. And I also want to invite you to check out my online course, the Bebop Guitar Improv Series, where you can learn all about approach tones and how to use all these avoid tones. And I teach a great segment in there called the Bebop Calisthenics, which takes you step by step through all sorts of exercises to really develop the mindset to play within the bebop idiom. So check it out, and I'll see you soon.